Yeah, I mean, we talk about guys on our team. That's all I talk about.
Well, then with Dr. Kustra, retiring, and I think you called him when you originally left here and stuff like that. So obviously, it seems like you had a pretty good relationship with him. Just what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I think we had a good relationship. Obviously, he had been around the program. I always had tremendous respect for him, and he's a guy that, when I was here as an assistant coach, to me had a huge impact, I think, on what we were doing football-wise. And I thought on our players, when he came in and talked about our program, we had the Fiesta Bowl year, and he came in there and he talked about this football program helping to be a window to the university and how we represent because of the exposure that we had through football. That just hit me. It made complete sense that the class that we talk about was important, how we represented, not just on the field, but how we represented as a football program. It made complete sense to me, and that we had somebody so involved in athletics as our president and being a player and coaching, and that's something that's, I think, a little bit rare. I really do. And he came out with the announcement and all that. I sent him a text June 30th. I said we still have time to try to talk him out of it. And I mean that. I mean, he's just done so much for Boise State. He's done so much for the athletic program and football in particular. I can use that. But obviously, I appreciate what he's done, he and Kathy, and they've been instrumental in so many things in this program. And just, I'm excited for him at the same time. That's a guy that's done a lot for our program. So, as we always do, we'll figure it out as we go. And he's certainly going to leave it better than he found it, which is what we talk about here, and there's no question about that.
For Fresno State and Wyoming play at noon on Saturday. I mean, if Fresno State wins, you guys will clinch it before you even play. I probably know your answer to this, but kind of a weird scenario, I guess, just if that were to happen. And how are you guys kind of treating Saturday? Yeah,
no different. And we really can't control any of that. I know all that stuff. There's scenarios and things like that. We don't even get into that. It's just we set out this season to accomplish a goal, and there's still a game in front of us, and that's part of it. And there's another game after that. So I hope our guys are focused on that. I hope it's not about, the what ifs and then we start playing these games. I just don't think that's the right way to do it. And the bottom line is we've been preparing hard this week. We'll have another hopefully good day today, and we get to go play a really good Air Force team that I think our guys are excited to get out there and play. We got senior night. I mean, there's a lot of distractions already that guys could sit there and focus on. I don't think our team's done that. I don't think our staff's done that. So it shouldn't be any different. I hope that it's a focus that we've had to get us to where we are now.
I know that the rankings don't help you win or lose games, but it's a result of winning a lot of games. So what does that do for you guys in terms of exposure? And I mean, being in the top 25 is better than not, obviously.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously, from a recruiting standpoint, it's something that you get attention from. People focus on it. We certainly don't. That wasn't the goal that we set out to accomplish when we got back after the bye week. But it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing for us, but it still doesn't get us where we want to go. That's the bottom line. So, not the mission. I haven't heard anybody on our team talk about it. It's really just been about this week, which is I think the coaches and the players are doing it right, and hopefully that continues. But it doesn't hurt. That's all part of it. And I know in the world of recruiting and exposure and all that, it's certainly not a bad thing. And it's something that at the end of, at the end of when the season's over and it's all said and done, then you can go back and look at it and reflect a little bit on where you're at.
I was going to ask you real quick about two seniors that we haven't talked about much, was Cam Hartsfield, and then I also want to ask about Austin Silsby. So those two guys.
Well, Cam, both those guys. Let me just talk about Cam. Cam's been a guy that he's given it up for the team. He's played for us. He's been in a starting role. He's been in a backup role. He's played on special teams. Just a guy that's really all about this football team and what we're going to do as a team to find a way to win. I mean, that's the unselfishness in players. You have 100 and some guys on your team and only 11 get a play at a time. So not everybody's going to be on the field. And that's part of it. That's part of being on a team, is you're going to have to give up some personal goals to go out there and achieve some team goals. And he's certainly been one of them. Silsby's no different. A guy that's been a walk-on. He's worked his way. He earned himself a scholarship. It's taken him some time. And I know for guys like that, every year you're wondering, you kind of throw your shoulders up like, what am I doing this for? And then you sit back and you reflect on it a little bit. You know exactly why you're doing it. You're doing it for opportunities he has right now. You're doing it for the teammates that you play with and your friends for life and things like that. So, you know, he's a guy that, both these guys, unselfish, guys that are about their team, guys that will do what they're asked to do, guys that want to play. They want to go out there and be on the field and contribute more, I'm sure. But whatever they're asked to do, whatever their role is, they're going to star in it and they're going to give us their very best. And that's what this whole thing is all about, in my opinion. I think there's so much more to it than, you know, what just happens for 3.5 hours on Saturday night. Yes, we want to win, but you know, what you learn, I mean, I've been in that role too. You know, we've had guys on this staff. We have a lot of people that are a part of this program that have been in that role. You're not always the star. You're not always the guy that's getting every single play. And, you know, I just think there's a lot you learn from it. I really do. And when you stick something out and you want to make an impact, you know, it takes time. And those two guys have made impacts. And I know their names aren't always in the headlines, but as far as when we show up on Sunday, those guys they're a part of what our success has been.
Montel was saying earlier today, you know, guys were saying to the seniors, we want to get you another home game after this. You know, kind of they don't want this to be the last home game. It seems like I know you're looking one game ahead, but if you do take care of business yourselves, that could be an option. Is that any talk about that, or would that be an easy way to motivate guys, knowing that this may not be the last home game if you do what you need to do?
No, we haven't talked about it. I don't think I hope it's not the motivation. I hope really, again, it's, you know, I just know this. We get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, I think guys are smart enough. It's out there. People pay attention to it. I try to make sure that, you know, we're not doing that as best we can. And that's just, you know, how can we just kind of keep everybody locked into what we have to do now? So that never happens unless you take care of today. And that's just, it sounds simple and it sounds too simple, but that's the one thing. I mean, I think the simple things are what help you be successful. And a lot of times everybody wants a more complicated answer. It's not really that way.